Welcome to the Heroes of Cosplay Sanctuary. This is your host, Scotty B. Yes, I just turned my head back. Never mind all of the things that go into creating the video, folks. Today's episode, we're talking about collaborations versus just creating a lot of content on your own and by yourself. Unless, of course, that isn't the nature of your content and everything is literally collaborated. The point of talking about this is that there is a lot that goes into collaborating. And I don't think that everybody always thinks about just how much goes into this. We kind of take it for granted that we see these team ups. We see lots of people in the cosplay space sharing that space and doing things together. And we don't always listen to or look at just how difficult it is to coordinate and to collaborate with everybody in this space. It is an amazing amount of work. It is very difficult to do. And of course, finding time that works for everybody, that is so hard to do and can go so sideways. So how well you know somebody can be a very big part of that too. And just really just thinking about all of the different pieces that go into a collaboration here. So, first of all, these are things you have to do. You have to find time with that individual or individuals that works for everybody. And you have to make sure that they have blocks of time, because you probably need more than just a few minutes to get through everything, or you have to tell them that they have to do things on their own and submit it. That's also very difficult. People do not always just have time, and lots of time can go by. Inferno Saga was a very good example of this, where we had a lot of very high intentions and hopes, but the reality is there are just a lot of things that happen along the way, and it can be very difficult to get everybody together in one space and get everything done. That can be very difficult to do. And you also have to make sure that you know the people that you're working with, right? So how well do you know the people that you're asking to do things with? Do you know them? Are you friends? Are you acquaintances? Are you just online people? So what is the expectation? What is the expectation? Part of that is what's in it for me. Part of that is what's in it for you, the person that I'm collaborating with. And what is the reason why we're doing this? What's the point of doing this? Are we curating content? Are we trying to make something that we couldn't do by ourselves? So if you've got a Joker Harlequin team up, obviously that's very hard to do by oneself. If you want to put together like a rogues gallery for villains, or you want to do just something a little bit more fun for an anime, have all of the characters in a scene, that is something that requires some collaboration. And sometimes this is being at cons actually an easier thing to do in that regard, because everybody's already in the same space. So you can say, oh, we'll meet at this convention, we can do this, and we'll have the photographers are already there, the crews are already there, everybody's already there. So that's a little bit easier. It's a little harder to find location, venue, and shoot on your own and do everything outside of a convention. It can be very difficult to collaborate and put together, and expensive. Make sure you get everything on paper. Make sure that if you are working with people that you don't know very well, that you have more than just a verbal agreement on all of the things that are going to be going into this, and who does what and who's responsible for what. And then you have to figure out if that's going to work or not. My expectation for myself might be very easy. So if I'm doing content on my own, if I'm in the cosplay space and I'm creating my own cosplay, shooting my own cosplay, talking about my own cosplay, making posts for my own cosplay, that's my own thing. So it's much easier. And the expectation is much easier because I'm me, right? I know what I'm expecting. But it's not when you're working with somebody else. They may have a very high expectation. They may not communicate that with you. And I'll be all the way to production, or it might be all the way done before they say that they don't like it, or before they say that they want to redo it, or before they say that they don't want you to share it. And you have to make sure that you know what the expectations are. And you have to know about those people that you are working with and what they expect. What is the bar? What do you want out of all of this? So when you are working on collaborations, make sure you have all of the necessary conversations first. Make sure that you don't rush into something, get all silly excited about it, and then get to that thing and not have all of the questions answered, because things will come up. Of course they will. You can't comprehensively know all of the things that are going to happen on shoot day, but still you want to make sure that you have as much covered as possible. Be in charge of all those details, or make sure that everybody knows what details that they are supposed to be in charge of. Make sure that you know what the pacing is, what the release is going to be for all of that content, and who is in charge of all of that, and who will be putting that out, and who will be writing that up. If you have people for that, great. But if you don't, and it's just you and the collabs, then make sure that you know who is doing what. Know that there are different benefits and there are different, there's positives and negatives to both. There's positive and negatives to doing all of your own stuff and never working with anybody else. And there's definitely positives and negatives to always working with somebody else. Or, you can sprinkle it in as we do on the show. We do like to collaborate with people, and we do have guests on the show. And yes, it is very intense to have the guests on the show, but we always appreciate it. And it's always a lot of fun. And it's always great to meet new people. And it's always great to hear about all of the different experiences, the cosplays, of course, the stories, the tips, the builds, and all of the causes that we should be made aware of in the community, because that's the whole reason for the show. So friends, that's really all I have to share today about this. You choose your own adventure inside of cosplay. That's part of the fun of doing it. Of course, you can like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for all of the things that'll be coming out. You can see all of the links to follow us in the description below the episode. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. This is Scotty B saying bye-bye.